We resume moments after Gathmir's untimely demise at the hands of distant spellcasters. You stand around Gathmir's body as the last of his life fades and a chill wind blows through the forest. The remaining Veil Guard around you look at each other. They look to you for guidance. And as though answering a prayer, there is a sound of shuffling in the bush nearby, and you can see there is a dim light, an illuminated path leading through the forest. Small golden flowers of light have begun to bloom.
Gonna look just sort of hollow inside with everything that has happened.
Sorry, continue.
No. Just I glance towards Theo.
Theo kind of steals his face and goes to examine the path that's appeared out of nowhere.
Give me an Arcana check.
Can I help him?
Right.
Yes.
Well, that helped. I got a 15.
I'd also like to guidance that as well. Just remembering that I can do that.
For future reference, Theo has a -1 in these. So, yeah, definitely any help. 19 total.
For the record, Isolde walks up as you're looking at it and kind of leans in real close, whispering something in your ear. You can't even really make out the words. It's stuff your brain doesn't want to remember, secrets that you shouldn't hear, and you just maybe bleed a little bit from the nose, and then they just walk away. That is guidance from Isolde.
Creepy. I like it.
Your hand touches the dirt that is now illuminated. You feel warmth, unnatural warmth, emanating from this magic that is embedded into the dirt in front of you. It is a comforting feeling. There doesn't seem to be any malice behind this magic. Furthermore, as you touch the path, to your left and right, you see the air almost wavering, as if there is illusion at work here. But only while you touch the path. And the rest of you see Theo waver in and out of vision.
Do I sort of understand what this might be? What this might mean, perhaps? That, the illusion?
I think it's obvious to you that there's some sort of effect attached to this path related to invisibility, and your common sense tells you that it is an escape route, though from who you cannot tell.
I sort of walk up to Theo. We should go. We should use this. At least get some sort of rest.
I agree.
A little bit of hope.
What little there is to find. And Theo kind of walks back to the remaining group and starts getting people ready to go.
It doesn't take long for everybody to pack up, as they were already somewhat on edge before bedding down. So there wasn't a great deal of unpacking from what little was brought on the road. Are you leading the group through this path?
Yes. With Gathmir dead, Theo is reluctantly taking up the position at the front.
I'll be behind him.
I will take up the rear.
Okay. As you each step onto the path, you see it expand before you, winding through the forest. The golden light is very soft. It's dim. And again, on either side of you, you see the air wavering. And as the groups in front of you step in, Isolde, you do see they enter a state of complete invisibility, and you cannot hear their footsteps the moment they step onto the path. As you look back, being the last one to enter the path, you see Gathmir's body lifeless there. And there's a moment where you get a flash of your past. The last time you've seen someone of this caliber dethroned, if you will. There's a moment where you think back to your own community and the emotions that washed over you when you lost most of those you were close to. But oddly enough, you have no attachment to Gathmir. So this is just one of many deaths you will see in the days coming. So you quickly bury those feelings, and then you turn back and follow the path. The air changes as each of you approach shattered gates. Theo, give me a history check.
That is a natural 20 for a 19.
You stand at the gates of a city known as Valkyrin, which once stood as a beacon of alabaster towers, mirrored lakes, and gleaming spires.
What was it called again?
Valkyrin. It was a city of philosophers and artisans, a beacon of light and knowledge. At its heart, there was a grand sanctum dedicated to Orion, a temple so radiant that it was said to glow even on the darkest nights. But all that light could not stop what came next. Upon the ashen veil appearing above Avarthiel, a wave of blackened mist that twisted flesh and mind alike rolled through the streets of Valkyrin, clutching at stone and bone. The first to fall were the scholars of Valkyrin's grand archive, their eyes blackened as they screamed of distant stars. Next were the city guards, whose blades grew heavy with despair as the ashen tide whispered their worst fears into their minds. The mist that covered the city was not the only thing that doomed Valkyrin. From within its depths emerged twisted shapes, not demons, but reflections of the city's own people. Doppelgangers speaking with the voices of loved ones, mimicking gestures of love and laughter. They lured the living into the fog. But when the citizens reached out, it was not warmth that greeted them. It was cold, biting hunger. The city's defenders fought valiantly. The Knights of the Dawn held the gates, their shields gleaming with Orvian's fading light. Priests unleashed torrents of holy flame, burning away the mist for brief moments. But with every creature they slew, another rose in its place. And then the temple fell. You stand before ruins. There is a lingering mist, but you don't feel any magic in it. None of you do. There's just a whisper of what was.
So, looking around at the ruins, does it look like there's any place we could possibly hunker down for some rest? For something a place that we could use as, like, safety?
In the distance, you see white flame within lanterns that line a street, which is unusual. As you look around, Valkyrin appears abandoned, yet these lanterns guide the way.
I glance to Theo. Should we? That's strange.
As is this path we're on, but that's where it leads.
I guess.
I could go take a look before we bring everybody in.
A sort of a quick nod. Still sort of present, but mentally still kind of distant.
Theo is very familiar with that. Theo would like to approach stealthily.
Okay.
And see if there's any danger.
There occasionally is the sound of rodents moving throughout the city. But aside from that, there is no movement. In the distance, on the path that the lanterns light, you see a series of twisted, melted candles lining the ground, their flames burning with a soft amber light. There's a narrow path that descends into the ruins of the sanctum.
Theo will go a little deeper before returning.
You stand at the beginning of the descent into the ruins. The descent is steep. The stone steps appear to be worn and cracked, and you feel cold. There is mist lingering just beyond the reach of the candlelight, and there's a distant hum reverberating through the passage ahead of you. Not music, but something like it. A low, rhythmic pulse, like the flicker of 1,000 flames.
And it gets louder as I go deeper.
Correct. And it also becomes more cold the deeper you go.
Don't like that. Theo has to make sure that there's nothing that's going to come after them, so he'll go as deep as he can until he encounters something.
At the end of this passage you walk through, the light shifts. You emerge into a vast subterranean chamber. The ceiling is impossibly high, shrouded in darkness, but the walls glow faintly with the flickering light of countless candles. The sanctuary is a labyrinth of ancient stone, carved into the very bones of Alcrin. Thousands of candles burn in recessed alcoves, their flames ranging from soft gold to unsettling violet. Some flicker with unnatural shapes, the silhouettes of hands, faces, and eyes that vanish the moment you try to focus on them. And you see hundreds of figures moving throughout this chamber. This is some sort of community or sanctuary. But as all of these people carry on with their business, you see one stares at you. The path at your feet, still glowing, leads directly to a single woman. As she begins to approach you, she is a figure of unsettling beauty. Dark hair, falling in tangled waves, framing a face that bears both elegance and exhaustion. Shadows clinging to her pale skin, and sunken eyes which burn like twin candle flames. A flickering orange glow dances around her with every slight movement, and she is followed by these floating candles, almost like an aura. She wears a long black gown, the fabric worn and frayed at the edges like scorched silk. She stops about 5 feet from you. Welcome, traveler. I am Seraphine. Where have you traveled from?
From the ruins of Fort Dwin.
What strikes you most in this moment is that though you walked into this chamber, you still did so as if to avoid detection. And the moment you got anywhere near the chamber, you know deep down that there was no hiding from Seraphine. Some great working of detection immediately made you know. And that tells you that there's some sort of warding in this chamber. As you say Fort Dwin, she tilts her head slightly. I'm told Fort Dwin has fallen. Do you travel alone?
No. I have survivors of that catastrophe with me.
I see. Well, as you can see, there is no shortage of space and resources. You are welcome to stay as long as you would like. Embervale is protected.
Right then. Let me return to the rest of my party.
Very well.
And Theo will make his way back.
I'm at the very back of the group.
I assumed you were going to say something. You said, hold on. All right. Theo makes his way back to the group and will say, I think we might have found a safe place, at least for the time being. Has anyone heard of this Ember? Excuse me. Ember what again?
Embervale.
Embervale, thank you. Has anyone ever heard of Embervale?
No.
Well, aside from being deep within the ruins, it's got some sort of warding around it. And this path we're on it's leading us to a person in there. I think she might be the one who sent it.
Oh.
And Theo will start ushering people forward.
All right. You carefully retrace your steps. The path is still illuminated. And you guide them through the ruins of the sanctum, which once paid homage to Orban. And again, you find yourself in this large chamber. At your arrival, many of the survivors that you've brought with you are greeted by the various members of this community. And Seraphine walks up to you. Are any of you hurt?
No.
None of us, but we did travel with grievely wounded.
I see. If I might ask, where were you intended to travel to?
Away. Just away.
Were all of you privy to what happened at Fort Dwyn? Could you tell me more?
The husband sort of quiets up and looks away.
We were assaulted by forces representing multiple demon lords. Something I've never heard happen before.
Yes, that is incredibly troubling. When the veil originally appeared, it was a free-for-all amongst the demons. There was very little cohesion. If what you say is true, that is very bad news for us. Here, come. There is food, there is drink. We can talk in a more private.
Thank you.
Osmond quietly follows behind.
Important things seem to be happening, so I imagine at this point everybody's inside and kind of being taken care of. Isolde's probably just quietly, surreptitiously wandered up and inserted themselves into the space. And getting closer to this woman, can I make out, if she did powerful magic, like making a tunnel of invisibility, can I make out anything about her, like what she is, what she might be capable of, who she's a servant of, that sort of thing?
Give me an Arcana check with advantage.
That is Garbo. 7.
She wears many rings and natural garments and jewelry. And looking at her, there's something within you that kind of responds naturally to potential threats of a magical nature. And this is someone who possesses a great deal of old magic. It doesn't have any connection to a specific deity or creature, which means she, for all intents and purposes, serves herself.
Interesting. Yeah, Isolde will just keep close to the others that they fought next to.
Seraphine begins to walk toward an offshoot of this main chamber. In this new room, there is a massive circular table of stone with a single colossal candle burning in its center. The wax is pulled around the candle in intricate patterns, hardening into something resembling runes. When you look into the flame, you very quickly start to see memories of your own. There's a large stone door to this chamber that Seraphine gestures for someone to close once the party has entered.
I'll do it. I'll close the door.
She flicks a hand, and chalices are distributed around the table, as well as pitchers of wine. Not quite unseen servants carrying out these tasks, more likely some sort of telekinesis. So, could you, if it's not too painful, walk me through the events?
It really started with the attempted hanging of some warlocks. I stopped the hanging because I realized they were, from looking at them, their expressions, and specifically one of them, they wanted this. And I assumed, I think correctly, that they were followers of, what was the name of that guy again? The Crimson...
Crimson
Hierophant.
Of the followers of the Crimson Hierophant. So dying is what they wanted. I don't know if it was my fault, though. She shells off.
That was only a part of it, though. For they were within our fortress, but enemies had started gathering from without as well. Hobgoblins. And based on everything over the last few days, I think they were under the command of the Pale Hunt. They infiltrated and attacked, and our walls soon fell to the massive demon that came with them.
We tried to fight. In fact, there was something below. This brilliant, glowing sword. That friend, bodyguard, my confidant, he was given the sword to use, but when Gathmir finished the teleportation spell to get us out, he wasn't there. Could have done more. Maybe could have pulled him in. I could have done something. He didn't come with us. When we left and we looked back, there was this bright pillar of light that just shot up from the fort. And I saw stars. They were stars.
We did everything we could, and the fortress still fell, and we still lost many people. So we started to move, lest we get captured or killed.
You did something fantastical, though you probably don't know it. Somehow, you managed to do what I couldn't do in years. There are a great many objects, like the sword you're describing. Somehow you not only managed to recover the light drinker, but you were able to recharge it, reinvigorate it. Do you know where this friend of yours is now?
I look down. I shake my head. Krish didn't make it out. He was still there. He was surrounded by them. I don't think he survived.
I would not be so sure. That sword was crafted by Orvian himself. And if that beacon is any indication of what happened next, I would say Fort Dwin might be no longer, but your friend is likely on the run.
Krish can still be alive.
I'm almost certain of it.
He is. I told him to go back home. We'd meet up there. Maybe he did.
Perhaps. But that sword alone is not enough to change the way this world works. There are many more objects of similar power. And if what you say is true, if the demons are converging and cooperating with one another, we are months, maybe weeks, maybe days away from total annihilation. It is of the utmost importance that we find and collect these other items. We have no real choice in the matter.
These items are that powerful?
In the right hands, yes. I've been searching for them for quite some time. Only one of them I know the location of, and well, it's not an easy journey.
What is this item? that you know the location of?
It is an amulet. It's called the Tear of Echoes. And, well, from all the research I've gathered, it should be within the sunless expanse, deep beneath the earth, in the ruins of temples.
Can I make an insight check on her to see how, I don't get good vibes from this person. I'm going to be real, guys. Yeah, I
Yes.
just want to see if there's some ulterior motive or if she's holding information back. Just get a sense of what she's providing to us right now. Because this is a lot for her to just we walk in and she's like, hey, let me tell you about this artifact. Do we even know her name yet?
Yes.
I missed her name.
It was
Seraphine.
Seraphine.
Seraphine. I just didn't write it down. I just got too many other notes on my thing.
I mean, Theo knows it, I think. He hasn't told us yet.
I'd imagine that Theo would have kind of done an introduction, if Seraphine didn't share their name, Theo would have. And then Seraphine, this is, and then let you guys answer.
Also, guiding myself. Without guidance was an 18. With guidance was a 21 on insight.
So there is a filter of excitement over a very emotionless face. She's trying to remain as neutral as possible, but you can see in her eyes that the prospect of someone having discovered one of these artifacts and the potential for the other ones to be recovered without complete disaster, it is very, very important to her. Her specific motives, though, you are unable to see those. Doesn't seem as though she's withholding information, but perhaps withholding motivation.
With
Um,
the... Oh, you.
I'm going to follow that up since she's withholding something. Yeah, I'm just want to detect her surface thoughts because it requires no save. See what's immediately on her mind.
What's immediately on her mind is the dangers of the sunless expanse, which you quickly realize is the reason why she hasn't gone on an expedition herself or sent anyone. Because no one who enters the sunless expanse leaves. There are also brief thoughts of how these relics, though they might be able to turn the tide, they are more likely a powerful bargaining chip for safety.
Right. So just last thing to follow that up. I think, yeah, Theobald, you actually hear this kind of whisper in your head as I connect minds with you and share what I just learned from her and what I've incited into her with you to continue with full knowledge of everything, as you just hear the kind of whispers of Isolde's voice in the back of your head sharing this information just directly with you. Unless you resist it, in which case it doesn't happen.
Theo is, even though they've kind of settled into this room, he's still very much on guard. So his eyes are kind of just constantly shifting from shadow to shadow, even if there is no shadows in the candlelight. So hearing Isolde's voice in his mind, he doesn't resist it. I'm trying to remember, has Isolde done something like this before?
I mean, Isolde's done a lot of weird shit, right?
Yeah,
I don't think speaking directly into your mind, I don't think so, though.
Okay, but it's recognizable as Isolde's voice.
Yeah, it's definitely it's a little creepy overlay, whispering in the background, but it's definitely coming from Isolde. There's no effort or Isolde wants you to understand who this is. They are conveying clearly their own intentions, and I might even start with "Hey, it's Isolde, by the way."
Yeah, don't
Sorry to
forget, this is the guy who almost skewered you when you woke him up.
That's fair, but everyone almost attacked me when I woke them up, to be fair. That seems to be a common trait. But yes, Isolde would make an effort to, if you immediately tried to pull away, would like try to convey like, I'm not going to harm you. Like I'm not. This is just a way to communicate without her knowing.
All right. Theo kind of stops shifting his eyes around as he listens to what Isolde tells him. And after all that, he'll find a lull in whatever conversation is happening on while that's happening, and will ask, seems you aren't short of people here. Is there no one capable enough to go before we arrived?
They are constantly receiving visitors, and those too weak to defend themselves. Many who stay in Embervale are taking care of the community and our newest denizens. Though this is a very isolated community, it is very dangerous for us to send anyone out if they were to be followed, not even by demons, but by people. It could bring about our ruin.
I guess sort of on top of all that, how were you able to sense us approaching? After all, it was you who led us here, wasn't it?
There are many wards within the sanctum, and I am no stranger to divination. I sensed magic nearby, and so I investigated. It was one of you, wasn't it? The little spark of divine magic I sensed.
Osmond sort of stiffens up a bit. I don't know. I mean, divine magic is dangerous these days.
I think all of you remember Gathmir had prayed to Lysera, the Thorn Huntress, for protection within the woods.
Right.
And then he immediately became a target.
It's possible you sensed our fallen leader, Gathmir.
You know quite a bit, it seems. How long have you been watching us?
Not long. As I said, I sensed divinity. I saw that there was a skirmish, and so I extended an invitation. You all fought well, so it seemed a waste to let you wander in the nearby woods to be attacked again. You were worth more alive.
Worth more alive. You have been very forward with your information and just telling us things and knowing things that we've been through. This name of the sword that none of us even knew. And I don't know. Perhaps it's the fact you share my mother's name that I didn't really say anything at first, but who are you?
I am simply a scholar of the old ways. I mean you no harm.
Glance over at Theo and Isolde.
Theo didn't get any, when he first arrived or when he brought them all down, he didn't get any twinge of demonic presence, did he?
Not at all.
I think it's impressive you've managed to evade the sight of the veil all this time with so many people. So much so that no one has even heard of this place before. Clearly more at work in keeping these walls safe. But I think it's something we don't necessarily have to understand. Theo is noticeably easing up his... He's the kind of guy who's like always tense when they're like traveling or when they're in certain situations. He's starting to relax a little bit to the point where it's noticeable.
Having only known him for a little bit, does this seem strange?
You'll notice that he's taken his hands off the swords at his waist, which the only time you really saw him do that was when... Actually, no, you have never seen him without his hands on his swords. Even when he goes to sleep, he's always got one hand on one, which is why he almost skewered Isolde.
Right.
So, without saying words, Theo feels like this is a safe place.
Seraphine, I do have a few questions, if you would.
Of course.
The people we brought with us, would they be safe in this place if we were to leave them in your care? Can you
So long as
their safety?
I can. As long as they do not attempt to harm anyone, they will be taken care of.
Well, if they attempt to harm anyone, I suggest you kill them. It's easier that way. But in addition, I know here somewhere abouts in these ruins there is a library. Is it still standing? Are there still tomes worth reading there?
I have collected what has survived over the years. Is there something specific that you're looking for?
I'd know it if I saw it. Could we peruse your collection? I do think others among our group might also have a curious mind and be interested in looking at the collection.
Osmond sort of perks up a bit.
How about this? Let us enjoy some food, and then after supper, I will take you to my personal quarters, and you can view my extensive library.
I would be pleased to do so. That's all my questions. I'm actually would love to have a bite to eat, and it's nice to not be on the road for a bit. I also was not there with this magical holy sword. I saw the beam of light from afar. I just tag along.
That's quite all right. The sword is miraculous, from what I've heard.
Oh, and actually, that does bring up an interesting question. What does the Tear of Echoes do? I mean, the sword makes beams of light, divine fury. The tears echo? Cry?
It allows you to view the past, but it is also incredibly useful for reflecting magic.
Reflecting magic does sound interesting. Viewing the past can be done with a lot of different spells, my understanding. And also reading a book. But reflecting magic, that could be interesting.
Jocelyn is just sort of... She's quiet. She's gone quiet as thinking about the information that they got.
As Seraphine stands up, give me an investigation check, Isolde.
Oh, I would love to. Can I guidance myself still?
It will be noticeable unless you have subtle spells somehow. But yes.
Actually, there's certain spells I can cast without using any... Hold on, let me double check this, because there are a long list of spells that I don't use any verbal or somatic components for. Verbal, somatic, or material because of my subclass.
Okay.
Yeah, psychic spells. So, enchantment or illusion spells are entirely subtle for me, but I don't know what this is. Let me check. It is divination, so no. So no, I won't do it. I'll just stick with my 8.
Okay. Of the rings she's wearing, one of them is a copper ring that has silver hands clasping a small amber stone. You recognize it, but you don't remember what it does. You know it's a magical item with a powerful enchantment. You just can't quite remember what that enchantment is. She straightens up the chair that she was sitting in, and then gestures for all of you to exit the chamber, presumably to have supper.
Theo will gladly leave to have some food.
Oswin's going to very much attempt to be the last one out of the room so that she's close to Seraphine.
Okay.
And as we walk, I don't know if she's walking with us, but I just kind of want to have a one-on-one with her. I'm going to look up at her. You say you basically divined us. You looked at us. You watched us. Correct?
Yes.
How did you not draw their attention?
Well, my magic is not from some god. Most of what I've learned was from my master when I was a young girl. But I always try to put a barrier between myself and whoever I am observing, if you will.
And so I had Opal circle the nearby area, and I simply looked through Opal's eyes.
Opal? Who's Opal?
She points up. There are shadows clinging to the ceiling, and from them, a gray hawk swoops down and lands nearby on a table.
A familiar?
Of course.
Quite a distance you have. Connection with that familiar.
A mistake is thinking that magic has limits. I assure you there are ways around every single restriction that you know.
It's incredible. But still, you knew quite a lot. I still want to know who you are. Looking at her, can I kind of figure out what, race she is? See if, how long she may have had to study magic?
So when you look at her, you know she is of human ancestry. But something about the way she moves and the amount of magic she flaunts makes you think that she is very old. It's almost like a weight beneath her actions and her speech. She looks very young, which does not match up with the amount of power she's wielding.
Okay. Maybe I need something to eat. Yeah. No, start walking away from her.
Everyone give me perception checks.
Yuki.
We'll take an average.
Starting off great with a 6.
Natural 20, making it 25.
Thank God.
Sorry to cancel that out with a natural 1
Oh, yikes.
for an 8.
Does it have to be average?
There are symbols and small hanging items, like a little doll here and there, or a twig wrapped in twine. Various symbols that don't seem to belong to any language. There is something so natural about everything you are sensing and investigating in this moment. This doesn't feel like practiced magic of a wizard. It doesn't feel like something that has standard operating procedures written for it. It's free-flowing magic, something very, very tied into nature itself.
I think I'm starting to catch on.
The stew that they serve throughout this large chamber in Embervale is served in dark ceramic bowls, which appear to be hand-sculpted and etched with faint symbols of protection. Something so minuscule as a bowl has been warded against poison as you are each kind of passively investigating the symbols. There is a great deal of effort put into making this entire place as safe as physically possible. The stew itself is oddly filling, not in the way of a heavy meal, but as though it warms you from within. There's a subtle sensation from each bite, almost like the fading echo of laughter from long ago.
With everything that is being used now that I'm picking it up, can I start to deduce where her magic is coming from? And why she might seem human but feel so old?
I would say give me an Arcana check with disadvantage.
Okie dokie. Click. What? It's supposed to... Okay, that's 1. And I'll click it again. I'm going to actually change the 8. I'm going to use my portent to change the 8 to a 9 and make that a 12. I don't know if it's going to do anything, but 12 is better than 11.
There is no tether from Seraphine to something greater than her. Her power is from her. If you were to look at this entire room and only see the auras of magic, Hers is a massive bonfire, but it is contained within her body. You all watch her as she interacts with the various members of this community. She's incredibly kind and gentle. Nothing about her seems of ill intent, but there's still something you just can't quite nail down, something that isn't adding up. All the while, Opal, the hawk, watches each of you, occasionally circling at the top of the chamber.
I glance over at the others. Now I'm more aware of my surroundings, now starting to come out of the darkness I was in with the hope that Kresh could be still alive. I'm gonna look at them and go, what do you think? Mostly I aim that towards Theo because I don't know really either of them, but I don't know. I'm just looking at them and going, what do you think?
I think in all my years, quite possibly the most secure settlement I've come across.
That should strike you as odd.
Very much so.
This whole place is unanswered questions. As forthcoming as she was, there was a great deal she wasn't saying, and what she wasn't saying were the answers to the really important questions. What and how she can do all of this and claim all of this power is suspicious at best, insidious at worst.
But why is finding a settlement that is so well protected a bad thing? We don't know everything, so being able to find something like this could be good. Something that could spread and be helpful to other settlements.
And if something like this were truly good and were spreading to other settlements, it would be destroyed the moment word got out to any worshipper of any demon. And the fact that it hasn't and that it seems to have persisted for a long time means either they are incredibly skillful at rooting out demons, or there is something else at play that we don't understand. And I'm not saying that this isn't good. I'm saying that there are unanswered questions and oddities to this that do make it dangerous.
I mean, it's the foolish person who walks into a secure settlement thinking they're completely safe. All we can really do is stay on our guard.
Yes, that's true.
I don't think it should change. To be clear, I don't think this should change our actions, our choices, or our goals while here. Only our wariness. We should remain on guard and not consider these people friends until we understand more. And maybe not be as forthcoming with information unless we know that it is information that will benefit us mutually to share with them.
Understood.
To that end, you two seem a bit more learned than me. What do you think of, well, what she didn't come out and ask us to, but I'm sure she's not far from it. What do you think of those items she talked about?
They sound wonderful. Too good to be true, almost, one might say. But you're right. It was clear that the expectation is that we collect them.
But she was so forthcoming, and we just arrived, and she's telling us basically to go on a journey?
Oh, it's only because we are, in her eyes, expendable. She would never send any of her own or herself, with all of her great power. She fears to go into the expanse because nobody has returned from it. So, and even if she sees the relics as a powerful force for good, she also sees them as a potential bargaining chip for her own safety and security in the future.
And
I might have
how do
peered
you
into
know
her
this?
mind a bit.
Oh.
I have a bit of an ability. You've seen me. I have... As you are a mage of quill and ink and paper and rote, I delve into the essence of one's mind, comprehending and utilizing secrets within.
Right. Okay.
Believe
Well,
me,
then-
I'm no stranger to following orders. At least when those orders were made in good faith.
Well, in truth, what other choices do we have? It's not like we could, continue to stay here and help protect these people who clearly don't need protecting. They've survived this long. We would only just be waiting for the inevitable. I am going to leave this place when I am tired of being here and continue my travels one way or another. It makes no real difference to me whether it's towards the sunless expanse or back towards the ruined stronghold we just left.
to task us with such a... I mean, yes, you said it's because we're expendable, but still, how does she know that we're reliable?
The point, she doesn't. But she has dangled a carrot, and she's betting that we'll continue to take the bait and come back for the promise of more power and more artifacts that she holds the secrets of. If we are to take control in this situation, then might I suggest that we get ahead and utilize the time in her study to try to learn what you and I can about the various artifacts that might fall into this category and powerful things that we might meet her knowledge and not need her. Not to harm her in any way, but I don't like the idea of being beholden to an unknown.
Yes.
And
But-
if we return from collecting this tier, maybe she will show us something worthy of continued allyship, or we will use our research to go our own way and continue collecting artifacts, or we will all decide that we should split up and go collect artifacts on our own. I'm not really sure what will happen, but for now, this seems a good direction. Also, finding your friend does seem like a good direction. I half expected you to walk out here and run off by yourself immediately.
I don't really have the means to do that. I haven't exactly been outside of my home much on previous occasions.
I hadn't either when I started, but it's one step and then another, and eventually you find the ground has passed by you and you're in a new place learning new things with strange people chasing the stories of artifacts. You figure it out.
Glance towards Theo. Any thoughts?
Not much one for books, honestly.
What about people?
It's easier to read people, I suppose.
Perhaps as we go look at some books, you can ask around? Maybe learn a little bit more about her? And the people who live here?
I think I can do that. At the very least, get a full scope of just what this sanctuary is like. We've only seen a little of it. And while I'm doing that, I suppose I could eavesdrop a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Truthfully, I am not exactly exceptional in a library. I'm happy to assist you, and I know what I want to learn is not anything that you would have any interest in. So I will put that personal goal off for another time. I can assist you, or I can just as easily assist. A little eavesdropping is done even easier when you can read the minds of the people you're trying to hear the words of. So either place I could be of use. You decide where you would like me.
It's an interesting trick you have, being able to put your own words in other people's minds.
I kind of respond in your head. You hear, it is very interesting, isn't it?
Whereas Theo definitely was taken a little back by it the first time. He's very adaptable, so he's gotten used to it now.
Oh, and I turn to our friend. I can also speak in your mind if I need to. So whoever I don't go with, I can connect with the other for a period of time, depending on how far away you go, and just keep a little tabs on you for a bit. So if I were to go with you, Oswin, at least for a while, I could keep track of Theobard, or the other way around.
Oswin shudders at the voice in her head now. Just It's perhaps a little more asking permission before you do that again. I would very much appreciate.
I could sever that connection then. Well, okay. And return back to speaking verbally. Well, this stew is very meager and mediocre food, but we have eaten. So, what is next? Where shall we go? Who shall I be joining? You tell me. You're the heroes of this story. I'm just here to observe you all.
Heroes. Sure.
I'm many things, but no hero.
Well, she's offered her library, which honestly fascinates me. So I think I do better working on my own.
Understood. Well, Theobald, you have my assistance. I'm also a deft hand at talking to people. You can kind of, after digging around in their head long enough, you kind of get to understand what facial expressions mean what thoughts. It becomes very easy to get what you want out of people. So, use me as you will.
All right. How about you do most of the talking and I observe?
Also, it is a two-way street, so you can just tell me what you want me to ask them as well if you have any ideas. But that will mean that our studious one is on their own.
I don't think we're going to be in any rough spots if we go our separate ways for a little bit. Besides, I think she can handle herself when she puts her mind to it.
And you all seem very good at a fight.
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
good at surviving. Fighting's just part of that.
Have you looked around? All that's left are people who are good at surviving. Where all the cockroaches are what made it through the devil's incursion.
I've been called worse things.
ferocious. That's a way to put it.
Well, if you want to head to the library, we'll get a lay of the land.
And I do so.
As you part ways, we'll take a 10-minute break.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Real quick before we do that, would that have counted as a short rest?
Yes.
I get all my spell slots back.
Oh, good for you.
And by that I mean the one I have used currently.
Yeah, eventually I can get rid of exhaustion on short rests.
Oh, isn't that nice for you?
I'm looking forward
I
to it.
can always get a spell slot back, and that's that. Or actually, excuse me, I get 2.
And we're back.
Okay.
Alrighty.
Okie dokie.
So remind me, Theo, you and Isolde are going off by your own to kind of gather intel by eavesdropping?
Yes. Theo is going to essentially go off and, under the pretense of getting a lay of the sanctuary, he is wanting to just assess that the people he brought here will be safe. And doing so, he hopes to catch snippets of conversation and maybe ask a few questions of the people who've already been here.
And Isolde's just helping by like reading the odd mind that you're like, I need more info on that, and asking the questions for you, correct? Like having the conversations for you.
Pretty much.
Cool.
Okay. You see a tall, wiry woman with pale skin and silver hair twisted into loose braids. Her hands seem to be stained. She has a leather apron smeared with ash. She appears to be working currently with a dagger. She is wrapping the hilt in fabric. And just so I'm clear, you're actively listening to surface thoughts of everyone nearby, right?
Yeah, I'm just digging around looking for, anything that might be interesting. Being a public nuisance.
So this woman is very hard at work, and in the labyrinth of her mind, there are questions of last night. She
wonders if she heard whispers or if it was her tired mind playing tricks on her.
Oh, no. Okay. Oh, do I risk it? I am personally intrigued. Yeah, I'm going to dig deeper into her mind. That's a DC 14 saving throw. What is its intelligence saving throw? Wisdom 14.
It was a 10.
Yeah, I'm like digging in. I basically want to like dig through and see what those whispers sounded like. Like see if I can hear anything from her memories or make sense of anything.
To you, it sounded like distant chanting, as if a ritual incantation.
Then I convey that to my compatriot, what I have learned through the mind link. Woo!
All right. Theo will strike up a casual conversation with this individual.
Hello. You came in with the latest batch, right?
Indeed. We're fortunate enough to make it here.
My name is Selin. I am Embervale's smith.
I'm Theobard. Theo.
Theo. Well met. Is there something you need from me? Would you like me to craft something?
Well, while my group is settling in, I was hoping to get a sense of just how safe this place is. And you being the blacksmith, I'm sure you would know of what dangers, at least those who aim to protect this place face.
Well, I've been here for about a year. And in my time here, we have had very few disturbances. The things that have come up, typically it's newer folk who cause disruptions. Seraphine is incredibly gifted and runs a tight ship. The wards, which I'm sure you've noticed, carved into the walls, keep us isolated and protected. And there's not really a need for anyone to leave Embervale, as everything is provided for us here. Are you afraid of anything in particular? Perhaps I could put your mind at ease.
I'm afraid of what I've seen happen all too often. Places people thought were safe beyond reproach, falling. I'm no stranger to these happenings. Though I will admit this place is by far the most secure I've come across. Is it all just by her doing that this place is kept safe? Does no one else, whether through strength of sword or mind?
There are a few scholars amongst us. None noteworthy, admittedly. And I would say that the majority of us have skill with blade, though we're unpracticed for quite some time, as there has not been a need for us to defend ourselves. We're very fortunate to have such a powerful leader in Seraphine.
Do you know of anybody who's been here? You said you've been here for a year. I'm sure there's plenty who've been here longer.
If you want someone of more experience and wisdom, you can go see Eldrin. He's one of our scholars. He's been here, I believe, the longest. He co-founded Embervale with Seraphine.
Is that so?
At least that's how he tells it.
Well, perhaps I'll make my way over to talk to this Eldrin at some point. I am a little troubled at what you said about many people here skilled with blade but are unpracticed. In my mind, that's just inviting devastation. Is there anyone who acts as a sort of guard militia, heads up that sort of organizing within this settlement?
You want to speak to Marlo Fenn.
Marlowe is one of few who leads expeditions out of Embervale. You'll know him when you see him. A large, powerful orc.
All right, then. Well, thank you for your time. Theo will kind of head off and meet up with Isolde somewhere.
Okay.
Share what he learned.
Oh, I mean, we could have been talking back and forth that whole conversation in your head.
I'm not sure what the play is here. That's all.
Yeah. I mean, there are ever increasing oddities here, aren't there? I guess we just eavesdrop some more at this point. Because I feel like
we'll get a lot of the same answers from people.
being a traveler a lot, I've seen it time and time again. When you survived everything that takes to survive out here with a group, you form a community, and when outsiders come in and ask questions, you close ranks and tell them only what you want them to know. We're probably not going to get very far unless we dig a little deeper, and if you do keep digging, experience tells me we're likely to anger someone, and as likely to get ourselves thrown out, or worse.
In my experience, proving yourself useful keeps that from happening.
It does take so much time.
Well, for some of us, that's all we have.
I will follow your lead. I'm honestly, usually whenever I come to a settlement, I gather some belongings, make trade, and then I leave again. So,
I think we
Isolde,
just... Never mind.
give me an investigation check, Isolde. You can do it with advantage, as Theo would also be looking around.
every time you give me advantage, it's like a curse. Neither roll is over a 10. The natural 1 and a 7, so 7.
A lot of the faces you are scanning, they seem tired.
I'm gonna just throw this out there, DM. I've seen Seraphine move things with her mind.
Yes.
Looking around, do I get even a whiff of eldritch magic here? Like you said,
You do not.
old. Okay.
You can give me an Arcana check.
I will do that.
It's not with advantage, so you're good.
Why'd you say something as a natural 1?
Oh my god.
What is the point in rolling at this point?
Optimism?
In this moment, what do you think is most distracting for Isolde?
I think, honestly, Isolde is probably most distracted by, like, the back of their head. They've been very forthcoming with Theo and Oswin, because ultimately, like, they're in a situation where they're working together with these people, which is probably something they haven't done in a very long time. So they're probably just a little distracted on, like, how much, like, they're like, maybe I shouldn't be they're thinking in the back of their head, maybe I shouldn't be telling these people these things. Like, maybe I might be making a mistake, and they're just kind of like, you know, a little put out by that and not realizing what's going on around them.
Though there is very clearly magic, your mind is playing against you in this moment. You're unable to determine what effects are most present. It's kind of like you're in a maelstrom of various schools of magic.
Now, you also said we saw runes around in a language none of us knew, correct? Like,
yes, you as being a studied caster, when I say it's not a language you know, I mean it is simply sigils. This is clearly spellcraft, but it's not a particular language. Think of it as every caster has their own signature of sorts.
right.
This is Seraphine's signature.
I feel like with so many mischecks, like I'm at, like, you're trying so hard to give me puzzle pieces, And we have all the puzzle pieces, but you showed me the picture on the box, and I keep just throwing it over my shoulder and going to town and hoping for the best. I really want to see the picture you're trying to show me. Knowingly, I feel like even Isolde kind of is aware, like, there's more here than they understand, and they're missing stuff, and, like, there's clearly, like, questions that everybody, like, we have that don't really have clear answers, and oddities here. So, I think at this point, I think we're gonna have to talk to Marlothan. He's the most important person. Actually, I'm gonna say this in character. Hi, Theobald. I think we need to go see Marlothan. Please and thank you.
All right.
And being that he's described as a powerful orc, I imagine someone with some martial prowess might be impressive to him. So maybe go be imposing when we go there. I'm hoping that you'll, maybe growl at him and he'll respond to that. That's what sword people do, right?
Definitely something I can do.
Perfect. Just put on your grumpiest face. That one. Yes, that one. And
This is my normal face.
Just a wink and walking off looking for a large, powerful-looking orc that might be in charge here.
Doesn't take you very long. You find that there is a group of armored individuals, most of which wearing leather with daggers and various other tools strapped to their hips. Amongst them, there is a gentleman with rounded spectacles, a stocky, broad-shouldered man with burns scarring his forearms. His beard is streaked with gray, and his dark eyes flicker from page to page. He's wearing a cloak of soot-streaked wool fastened with a candle-shaped brooch.
Candle-shaped brooch. Okay. Is that like a holy symbol?
Doesn't appear to be.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna approach him. Actually, no, I'm gonna push Theobald towards him. I think Theobald's got that grouchy face, but I'm gonna be there to help.
Okay. As you approach Theobald, you see that Marlowe looks up. Those around him are kind of like a pack of wolves. They all turn toward you as if sensing that you're approaching, and they eye you suspiciously as you are a stranger. But Marlowe lowers his book that he's reading. Hello. Is there something I can help you with?
Well, I was told that you would be the one to talk to regarding, the physical defense of this settlement.
Well, you're looking at the physical defense of the settlement. You see he lowers his glasses and places them on the table and gestures to the many armed individuals around you. Isolde, you catch, while you're listening to the voices, Marlowe's eyes flick toward you, and you hear, "No, this won't do. We cannot allow elves amongst us."
They're an issue with my lineage.
Are you saying that out loud?
Yeah.
After hearing that?
Do I hear that in my
mind?
head? Oh, I hear that in his...
That's his surface thoughts.
Understood. I thought like maybe some of the people said that. I didn't understand. Okay. No, I'm keeping that to myself. Like, he doesn't have to like me. That's fine. Better that I push Theobald first.
Yep.
Are you interested in joining the fray? Maybe we could take you on an expedition, show you how things are done. You seem capable.
As do you. And he kind of looks around, and with probably some experience from his early days as a guard, he looks around and just tries to assess just who might be maybe not up to par in this group. Not like doing any long examinations, but just like at a glance. And he'll kind of gesture to whoever he thinks looks maybe the most green, and he'll say, as for the rest of these, well, some of them look like they haven't seen any battle. I suppose Sanctum is well hidden as this. One can expect that.
Yes, well, the most bloodshed we've seen in recent times is during hunts, admittedly. Not a great deal of demons in these parts. This is a black spot on the map, if you will. Avoided by most with sense. And those with no sense, well, they typically find nothing amongst the ruins. We are obscured by powerful magic, as I'm sure you've come to find.
Yes, hard to miss. How long have you been here?
In your head, you also hear, like, ask him what he knows about the magic. Like, where does she get her magic from? As impressive as it is. Seem really impressed. I should say that in character, but you know what I meant.
Yeah. Theo.
I've been here for 14 years, which is when Embervale was founded. And I can assure you that Seraphine's magic is a miraculous thing, although I am not privy to how exactly she conducts these rituals she has laced into the sanctum. Typically, she prefers privacy when casting.
How many of you were there when this was founded?
There were only about 24. We've since taken in scavengers and survivors of other settlements nearby, each guided here by Seraphine's own hand. Though there were a few that we found during expeditions, some that we saved from demons or mortals in some cases.
Did you know Seraphine before the veil split? Or did you?
I did not.
So you found each other in all the chaos, as many of us did.
Seraphine found me leading an expedition. I was grievously wounded by a demon, and she saved my life. And I've been in her service ever since. You see, he raises his tunic, and the left side of his rib cage is covered in a large scar, something that should have cut him in half.
You're fortunate to have survived. A wound like that could take down 2 men easily.
It did. You recognize something in his voice and in his eyes. There were a great many more in that initial group that did not make it and did not survive long enough to be healed by Seraphine. You can see that on his face.
It's not easy to lose people, but it is the reality we find ourselves in every day.
Does your companion not speak?
Tell him I'm a servant in service to you, and that you've ordered me not to speak.
We've all been through a lot the past couple of days. Everybody's still adjusting to this new reality, constantly shifting as it is.
Well, they are welcome to claim a spot and rest. I'm sure they'll find these halls are very peaceful for meditation, seeing as how they do not sleep.
In your head again, you'll hear, you need to distance yourself from me. He doesn't like elves. So if you're going to get closer to him, you need to make it look like you don't like me.
It is a bit unsettling knowing that there are those who still act while the rest of us seek the respite of dreams. Hard to be on guard when you're unconscious.
Some say dreams are the safest space to remember those you've lost.
And I pity those who cannot dream.
What an interesting choice of words. And I'm saying that above table. As Isolde leans in mentally, those around Marlowe, there's a mixture of thoughts on the surface, all along the same lines of, I can't remember the last time I've dreamt.
Do I know of any magic that takes away the dreams of people? Or that would strip them of their dreams? Any reason that this might be a math happenstance?
You don't know of anything that takes away dreams. It's not magic that you are familiar with. It's not an effect that you've encountered before. And then I think upon hearing this, you think back to the fact that you saw many, many people here who otherwise seem happy, and they've been here much longer than you have, but they look physically tired, as if they are not getting restful sleep. And again, you think back to the disdain that Marlowe has for you specifically, and how he mentioned the fact that you do not sleep. I'm going to ask you for an Arcana check.
You can ask, but the dice don't care. Okay. Take a deep breath. Good energy, good vibes. Oh, shit!
Ha! There you go.
Nice.
There is magic within Marlowe, though he seems to be a martial, very brute force heavy individual. That brooch holds a great deal of magic. It happens to be in the same flavor as Seraphine's.
Theo, ask him about his brooch, please.
Looking at the brooch, does it look like it's something that would catch someone's eye?
It's simply a candle-shaped brooch in silver. Sure. At certain angles, the light catches it, but typically it seems as though the cloak would obscure it.
Okay.
He has extra fabric that kind of drapes down over his shoulders and chest. So if he were not sitting so laxed, you probably wouldn't have even noticed it.
Alrighty. Tell me something. Why all the candles? They're present everywhere. Seems is it the symbol of the settlement? He gestures to the brooch that Merlot is wearing. Or is it some sort of ward of protection?
Both. I would say it's a symbol of Seraphine. This was a gift from Seraphine. And many of the wards are within the candles themselves. I don't pretend to understand witchcraft, personally.
World's complex enough without us trying to figure it out. So you don't know why the candle is the symbol of this place, it seems? Or maybe it's because they provide the wards.
Never thought to ask why the candle is our symbol, or why Seraphine wanted to name this place Embervale. Perhaps I'll ask her.
Well, I appreciate you taking the time to answer some questions. I've been a little skeptical of this place since coming across it. Just trying to get a lay of the land, I suppose.
Well, if you have any other questions or you want to join us on an expedition, we are leaving early in the morning to go hunting and gathering herbs. Your elven friend is welcome to join us.
I do my best to look a little distant and traumatized.
Well, I will definitely be volunteering. I don't like sitting idly.
That's good to hear. Feel free to have some of the ale. It's brewed in-house, like many things.
Is there any ale here, or have we noticed a place for that?
If you look around, there's definitely a small space that's being used for a kitchen, and you would see there is a great deal of alcohol stored back there.
Okay. It has been a while since I've been able to relax. Maybe I will. And Theo will kind of give him a bit of a head nod bow and just start leaving.
Okay.
As we walk away, I'm gonna just kind of in your head, kind of basically break down the he didn't trust me for being an elf because I don't dream. Everyone's been tired. Putting together the pieces of the mystery here. Everyone's tired. It's clearly tied to the brooch that he wears and the ring that she's wearing. There's something. I think there's actually something insidious going on here, but I can't figure it out. I can't place it. I really want to get my hands on that brooch.
You are talking to the wrong person for that sort of up close and personal work.
Also, you volunteered to go out in the morning. That seems ill-advised. Aren't we supposed to run off to capture some amulet in the morning?
I don't think we've established any timetable for that yet.
Oh, I suppose I'm just not used to staying in one place for very long. Also, good job with the don't like elves, like the gentle nudge there. I thought you were going to be more heavy-handed. I gave you a very heavy-handed idea, and you turned it into a gem. That was very good work on your part.
I just said words.
Truth be told, he's not going to want me to stay, is my other concern. He very intentionally wanted me gone. I don't think if I go hunting with you all that I come back.
I think if you went on your own, you might not come back.
Well, truth be told, I don't... I come back either... Well, I don't come back, but I survive either way. But... that is because I just refuse to die. Cockroach, like I said.
Something I'm very familiar with. I think that's enough eavesdropping for one day.
More than enough. I am going to go find somewhere to rest for the night and not sleep.
Just so you know, I do find it a little unsettling, those who don't sleep.
Believe it or not, I can sleep. I can choose to go sleep. I just don't have to. If it will make you feel better, I will lay down and take a full sleep tonight.
Whatever you're comfortable with. We fought together. That instills a certain amount of trust.
Oh, I don't trust any of you. But
I said a certain amount.
And so far, right now, it seems to be in my best interest to follow along. And to a degree, you guys do seem hell-bent to kill demons, and that is in line with my personal goals, so ideally there will be demon murder in the direction you're going, so as long as I'm not stabbed in my sleep, I'll probably keep coming along. Anyway, I'm going to go find somewhere to meditate and not be where maybe no one will notice me for 4 hours, so probably behind some crates. And I'll speak with you in the morning.
All right. I'm going to go check in with the rest of our charges.
Oh, all the people you brought here? They're probably fine.
Still feel responsible for them.
And that is very much a thing I have come to expect from people. So that makes sense. Go check on your people. Thank you for taking the lead in that conversation. And Isolde will awkwardly toddle off to go hide somewhere and try to meditate and not get stabbed by an orc.
Okay. You go over and find a nice secluded area. And Theo, where are you going?
Theo's kind of just making the rounds to the people that came in with him and the others.
It seems like they've been taken in very quickly. They've already kind of incorporated themselves into the citizens of Embervale. And there's a section of this large chamber you're standing in where you can find most of them. Those who had wounds are already being cared for. And you see just about everyone is in the middle of eating.
All right.
A few have nodded off to sleep, as it is getting a bit late.
Then I guess I'll go see what Oswin's up to.
We're going to cut over to Oswin. So while all of that was happening, Oswin, you were following Seraphine toward her personal study.
Mm-hmm. So I'm sort of, as we're walking up there, I'm gonna look up to her. So What kind of books can I expect to find?
There are a few historical tomes, and I have many personal journals and some spell books. Some my own, some belonging to other mages. Is there something in particular that you're interested in learning about?
Well, you mentioned these artifacts, and as much as I know you've told us a bit about it, but sometimes seeing it from the written book can quell some uneasiness.
See,
And just, personally, maybe just a little more research about what could have happened to Crush. If you don't mind me doing that.
well, I cannot guarantee you'll learn much more about your friend, but there are definitely texts on the light drinker, as well as the other artifacts.
Knowledge is never wasted. Whatever I find, I'm sure will be useful in some way.
Tell
I
me,
appreciate you allowing me to do this research.
do you have a master? Someone who's taught you the ways of magic?
Had a few of them. Just, in general, people whom I could find. I really didn't start learning until after all of this started happening. I was always sort of natural to it, but in a more studied fashion, it was more of those who made it to our settlement, who were willing to teach me, though this studying was always coming from my mother. She imparted my love of academics into me, actually. And I just continue to find it fascinating that you two share the same name. Makes me miss her.
Well, let us hope you can reunite with your mother soon.
Yes,
My quarters are right this way.
of course.
Theo, are you following closely or are you kind of sneaking through?
I think Theo is going to attempt to be a little bit stealthy. Yeah, he's going to try to be a bit stealthy.
Give me a stealth check.
15.
You bob and weave through conversations as if melding into these groups that you're passing by. And this allows you to trail without being too obvious. And you do see the hallway that Oswin is guided down.
Okay.
Oswin. Seraphine's living quarters are dimly lit chamber deep within Embervale from an offshoot hallway. The shadows here cling to the walls like silent witnesses. It's lined with towering shelves fashioned from twisted black wood. Every inch of the shelves is crammed with tattered journals, fractured tomes, and the occasional scorched manuscript, likely relics salvaged from the ruins of Valkyrie. Some books are bound by the strands of wax, their cracked spines trembling, while others are open, their pages smeared with ink, almost like half-remembered thoughts. In the room, there is a circular table, its surface cluttered with half-burned candles and scraps of parchment scribbled with symbols. The air is thick, with the scent of aged parchment, smoldering embers and faint traces of lavender. You hear the flutter of wings as Opal enters the chamber and lands on the table.
Like right in front of me?
Correct.
Hello. Are you going to be keeping me company?
Opal tilts their head, almost to look through you.
I tilt my head with them. A mimic, like mimicking them. I can do that too.
I think you'll find that Opal's not very talkative, but you're more than welcome to peruse what I have. There are some things I have to attend to. I'll be back shortly. If you need anything, tell Opal, and he will relay the message.
So, they will be keeping me company. That's surprising.
Seraphine walks out. Theo, you
What
see her leave. Theo, you see her leave.
I see Seraphine leave.
Correct.
I think Theo is going to kind of glance in to just make sure Oswin is, all right. But yeah, I think he's actually going to follow Seraphine.
Okay. Oswin,
Yes.
what do you want to look for first?
I want to see if I can find anything telling about the founding of Embervale. Like any kind of history written down or of sorts.
Though there's a great deal of tomes here, nothing specifically about Embervale can be found. All that knowledge, all those questions you want answered are within the mind of Seraphine.
Next, I'm going to look to see if there's any tomes about these ancient artifacts that she's talking about.
Yeah. You find a tome that you have to carefully place down. It seems ancient. Like you have to actively take the utmost care flipping through the pages because it feels as though the book will fall apart if you use too much pressure.
I feel like having been given or looked through books before of what could be salvaged from certain things, I feel like Oswin would have knowledge on how to handle books like this one. I'm going to open it up very carefully and start reading.
All right. So each of these relics is tied intrinsically to the deity they represent. Start with the one you've already heard of, the Light Drinker. The Light Drinker is, of course, a relic of Orvian, the Radiant Hand. It is a slender longsword forged from silver and radiant crystals. It's said to drink false light and shatter illusion and deception, as its blade shimmers with a blinding luminescence. You continue reading.
I do.
The relic of Velthara, the Pale Mother, is a shroud by the name of the Veil of the Quiet. It is pale silk embroidered with silver thread that seems to gently flow even without wind. When draped over the deceased, it ensures peaceful passage and prevents the dead from rising corrupted. It has unknown properties when worn by the living, and there's no mention of where exactly this can be found. Then there is the artifact that was mentioned by Seraphine. It is a mirror amulet known as the Tear of Echoes. This is belonging to the deity Azun, the Whispering Tide. It's an amulet fashioned from impossibly polished sapphire, which is perfectly reflective like still water. When gazed upon, it reveals fragments of hidden truths and forgotten memories. There is a note here in the handwriting of Seraphine. The Tear of Echoes is at the bottom of a subterranean lake known as Sorrow's Rest, which is beneath the ruins of a sunken library, held by a statue. The description of the statue is not given, although it does say the statue's tears endlessly feed the dark waters around it.
Anything else to learn?
That relic in particular, no.
I just meant, are there more relics?
The next is known as the Crown of Embers. It is a circlet dedicated to Thrixus, the Ember King. It is an iron circlet with molten veins of eternally smoldering embers. It grants immense resilience, fiery might, and it inspires bravery, though prolonged wearing is said to scorch away mercy. Here's a name you recognize, Lysera, the Thorned Huntress. This is the deity that Gathmir prayed to in the woods. Her relic is the Briarheart bow. It is an elegantly twisted bow of blackened yew, wrapped in thorny vines that drip endlessly with fresh blood. Arrows fired from it seek enemies of nature and strike unerringly. And another deity you recognize, Selir, the Dancer of Stars. Her relic is the star-woven mantle, a cloak of midnight silk dotted with shimmering living stars. Its wearer dreams lucidly and can traverse the paths of dreamers, guiding lost souls back from madness. You turn the page, and you see a massive hammer carved from dark iron. This is annotated as the Forge Breaker Hammer, which belongs to Gorvath, the Black Anvil. It's said to be able to shape metal with ease and shatter constructs of any complexity, but it seeks a wielder driven by tireless ambition. It's said to be able to create unbreakable items. Then there is a section where pages are torn out. One of the relics has been removed from this book. The next relic belongs to Zethus, the Chains of Order. The relic is called the Bindings of Judgment. They are chain gauntlets. The chains appear to be living, and they tighten around oathbreakers, weighing sins with merciless precision. They force the wielder to uphold order, but they grant no room for redemption or mercy. And at the end of the book, there is Ashara, the Blooming Veil, and her relic, the Mask of Blossoms. It is an exquisite porcelain half-mask decorated with ever-living flowers whose colors and species change to reflect the moon and intent of those who wear it. It grants the wearer mastery over illusions and the ability to alter their appearance flawlessly. You count 9 relics, with one that has been removed.
Can I take a look back at that ripped page and sort of examine the binding where it was ripped, and am I able to sort of figure out how long this page has been missing?
It's unclear.
Are there any other notes in the book from either Seraphine or other people's handwriting?
No. But I will say, the state of this book currently, if you were to try to rip out pages, you would undoubtedly destroy more than what you're intending to remove. So this would have had to be ages ago when these pages were removed. And this is an ancient book. Like, you're surprised it's even still in one piece.
So this is ancient knowledge, possibly lost from the more recent minds.
Correct.
I mean, hearing Gathmir talk about how he thought there was something in Fort Dwyn that he didn't really know what it was, it's safe to assume that most of these have been lost to history. Though, to Oswin, some of these don't seem quite nice.
Unfortunately, there is not a complete accord of what each of these things are capable of. But if the light drinker is a reference of any sort, they carry within them a large fragment of divinity.
As I sit here in amongst her books, is there any indication of anything divine around me? Oh, let me rephrase that. Let me do something else. I want to spend the next 10 minutes ritually casting Detect Magic.
Okay.
And once I'm done doing that, I want to take a look around to see if anything stands out. That would not be the warding sigils. I mean, you know what? Let's just say, what stands out?
The room comes alive with unsettling currents of arcane energy. The flickering candlelight remains unchanged to the eye, but beneath the mundane glow, countless magical threads weave through the air. Every candle in the room pulses with a faint magical aura. You can sense divination magic humming from these candles. There is a tall mirror along one wall, which is cracked. It's still reflective, but it is saturated with illusion magic.
I walk up to it, examine it.
Yes?
Trying to figure out what the illusion magic is for.
Give me an Arcana check.
Okey-dokey. Okay, that's an 18.
The cracked mirror looms tall. Its jagged surface is distorting reflections. The glass is split in several places. And although it remains whole, the fractures shimmer faintly with unnatural violet light. When you look into the mirror, your reflection lingers a moment too long, as if reluctant to let go. The air near the mirror is unnaturally cold.
Can I figure out...
You're
Oh, yes, you first. Go.
looking at the mirror, and though the reflection lingers, once you step to the side and it's no longer in front of the mirror, or rather, you're no longer in front of the mirror, you do start to see something else in the mirror. It's a fragmented memory. It takes you back to your journey to Fort Dwyn. And slowly but surely, the memory rewinds and it takes you back to your home right before your journey to Fort Dwyn. And then it shows you what happened days prior to that. And as you're looking at it, it continues to replay your life day by day. And I need you to make a wisdom saving throw.
Okay. Okay, wisdom saving throw. Lick. That's a 16.
You can feel the mirror drinking your memories. Your thoughts are scattered as your memory starts to fade in this moment.
Oh no. Am I, able to pull away at all, or am I, entranced?
You're able to pull away.
I pull away.
Okay. You feel a rush as something returns to you, and you know that you have not lost anything permanently.
Oh. Is Opal still in the room?
Yes.
Is there any reaction from Opal?
No.
In the world was that? I sort of step away from the mirror. Any knowledge I've had from previous research on spells that could do stuff like that, or effects that could do something like that, or even mentions of this kind of mirror?
No. This is unfamiliar magic.
Okay, so detect magic is still on. The shattering on the mirror, is that looks like something that was like a forced, someone reacting to something that caused the mirror to shatter? Like almost someone who looked into it and needed to punch it in order to, or someone else destroying the mirror to break someone out of it.
Well, it seems to you that this is part of the enchantment of the mirror.
Oh, the brokenness of it. Why would she have something like this? What's the use? I'll tell the others. I'll think about that's what she thinks. I'll tell the others. But she's going to step away from it and continue to look around the room at whatever else might be magical aside from the divination spells from the candles. The divination is fascinating. Instead of aberration for warding. Not aberration. What's the word I'm looking for? The school of magic.
Divination?
Abjuration.
Abjuration, yes, instead of abjuration.
So it seems to you that the candles across the board are a source of divination, but the wards that are carved into all of the walls, that is your source of abjuration. But that's more of static in the background. It's everywhere.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's everywhere. Can I focus on the candles to try to figure out what kind of divination is radiating from them?
Think of it as scrying in a mass scale. So although you're sitting here in a room with Opal watching you, you know that even if Opal wasn't here, Seraphine would be able to see what you're doing. It's just a matter of flicking her consciousness to focus on you.
She has eyes everywhere. Knowing this, I'm gonna go back to looking through the books. Are any of the books radiating any magic?
No, but behind the bookshelf, there is a small sliver of magic.
Oh. Does it seem like it's a sliver coming, like, does it seem like the sliver is magic peeking through, like, a cut in the wall or something that is sitting behind the bookshelf?
There is something sitting behind the bookshelf.
I want to investigate it.
Okay. While you do that, we're going to cut over to Theo. I need another stealth check.
All right. 18.
You begin to follow Seraphine through a winding corridor. And she turns from the corridor into a small chamber. Even from a distance, you can hear what sounds like boiling liquid.
Theo will follow.
So, as you stop at the doorway, now you can clearly hear the sound of glass hitting glass. It sounds like liquids are being poured into glass and glass is being shaken. Almost like the mixing of alchemical components. All the while Seraphine is whistling just over the bubbling that is kind of roaring in the middle of the room.
Sorry, is the door closed or open?
It is open.
Okay.
Would you like to look in?
Yes.
Okay. This room has a large cauldron in the middle of it, which is made of iron, and there is a boiling red substance inside of it. On the shelves that surround the cauldron, there are vials containing that same red substance. You can see Seraphine is actively in the process of sealing several vials that presumably have just been filled.
Okay.
This is
So
not a
she's-
liquid you have ever seen.
But it's a red liquid?
Yes, it resembles blood, though it has almost like a shimmering flecks inside of it.
Okay. And it's all in the center of the room, or she's got it, right?
The vials are around the entirety of the room. There's countless shelves. It's fully stocked at this point of these little vials. And in the center of the room is the cauldron itself, which she is taking this liquid from to fill more vials.
Is there any vials near the door?
I think it's reasonable that you could probably reach the nearest shelf to the door.
Okay. Yeah, I think Theo's going to try to grab one of the closest one.
Okay. This is a very high stakes roll. Give me a sleight of hand.
Alrighty. Let's get all the bad vibes out of my hands. Okay. That's a natural one.
Oh no.
Thought it landed on the 19.
Oh no.
So two things happen in this moment. You turn toward the vials and begin to reach. And it's just slightly out of a comfortable range, to the point where when you get a few fingers onto the vial, it accidentally slips, slamming to the ground. Seraphine immediately turns to you. And we're going to cut back to Oswin.
Okay.
Opal ruffles their feathers and immediately turns and flies from the room. There is just enough distraction in this moment for you to look behind this bookshelf without being noticed by Seraphine because she's distracted.
Okay, I'm gonna look.
So you quickly move books out of the way and you see there's a sigil on the wall. That is what the magic emanating through the bookshelf is from.
Can I study the sigil and see if I can figure out what it means?
It's a very simple illusionary symbol that creates a wall, similar to what you experienced in Fort Twin when you open that secret chamber.
There's something hidden behind the wall.
Correct.
I wanna try to get back there.
Okay. You press a hand to the sigil, and suddenly there is no longer a wall behind the bookshelf. You see that there is a very small pedestal. On top of it is a large book, bound in leather.
I approach the book.
What are you doing with the book?
How big is this book?
At least 300 pages.
Okay.
As far as the height,
I still have
and
detect
width,
magic on. Is it
there's
magical?
no magic coming from it.
It says it's 300 pages, so it's a large kind of
It is
heavy
a
book.
large, yes.
Spells. Of course, this is the day I do not have reduce, enlarge, and reduce prepared. I do have Misty Step, though. Well, the bird flew out. Give me a moment. Oh. How long does this last? Lasts a minute. I'm just gonna open the book to a random page near the front. I want to see if I can figure out what the book is about.
You flip to a random page, and on that page is a photorealistic sketch of a man of dwarven ancestry with a thick beard and a receding hairline and some square spectacles. There's no text on the page. It is simply a sketch.
Can I open up to another page?
Yes. Similarly, you find there is another sketch of another individual. Completely different people.
Have I seen any of these people in the area?
No.
I'm going to go to near the back of the book.
How close to the back of the book?
I'm going to look to see if I could get to the final page that has a sketch on it.
The final page that has a sketch on it bears the likeness of Seraphine.
How she looks now?
Correct. You instinctively know there's a connection between that mirror's abilities and these records of appearances.
How heavy is the tome?
Probably about 4 pounds.
Can I pick it up and show the picture of Seraphine to the mirror?
You can. There's no
I do
effect.
that. There's no effect? Damn it.
Give me an insight check.
Insight, okay. Oh, goodness. That's 26.
This is not a spell component. This is a collection of trophies.
I think that we've just stumbled upon something. I'm... What is the page just before Seraphine's picture?
It is a silver dragonborn. One of their eyes is orange, the other is blue.
Does not look familiar, does it?
No, it does not.
These are trophies. She's not... This is... Can I deduce? Just... I want to grab the book. I want to grab it. Okay. I take the book and I leave her apartment.
Okay.
I try to hide the book as best as possible, sort of in my arms, just sort of like as if it's just another book I'm about to read, walking with as much confidence and like I haven't done anything wrong, and try to find someone that I know.
We cut back to Theo. Seraphine looks down at the mess you've made and looks up at you. She places down the vials that were in her hand. Is there a reason that you are breaking my things?
Call it clumsiness I'm not usually known for.
Is there something you needed from me? As she says this, you hear the fluttering of wings as Opal flies into this small lab and lands on a nearby countertop.
Well, was looking for Oswin. I knew they were with you. But now I'm a little curious about what all this is.
This is something to aid Marlowe and the others who join him on expeditions.
What is it?
It is a poison.
Poison. For hunting.
Correct. Because there are many things more dangerous than the beasts in these woods that occasionally approach too close for comfort. This is a poison that is very effective against those individuals.
Can I do an insight check on that?
Yes.
Is it actually meant for any of that stuff? 13.
It's hard to tell how much of what she's saying is truth because her words are accompanied by venom. She's agitated that you've essentially wasted an entire vial of this poison.
Mm-hmm. But looking around, she's not short of any, it looks like.
Correct.
Look, I apologize for my carelessness, but you seem to have quite a lot considering, well, I don't know how frequently you send people out, but if you're sending people out this often, I'm surprised there haven't been more incidents with discovery.
I think you've asked enough questions for one day. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have to clean up this mess.
Theo will back away. There's no darkness in this sanctuary at all, right? Like, pretty much everywhere he's gone, there's been some amount of illumination.
Correct. There's at least been a little bit of candlelight.
Okay. Alrighty. Yeah. Theo is going to head away, but he's going to try to remember where this door is.
Okay. As you leave, give me an Arcana check, and then I'll tell you for free from your perception and your experience with hunting. The smell of blood was the most prominent scent in that room, especially after you broke that vial.
Okay, Arcana 4.
Something unsettling. But you're not skilled enough with magic to understand what this is you're feeling in this moment.
Yeah. Theo is going to make his way back towards where he last saw Oswin.
Isolde, you see the two of them reconvene.
Hi.
Hello?
Sorry, I'm thinking. If I think I'm gonna stop meditating at this point. Do they seem upset? I'm guessing.
For sure.
Yeah. I kind of give up on meditation. I'm not getting my 4 hours right now.
Seem suspicious of everything around me. You see me glancing at candles.
You seem very upset.
I'm educated. Let's just say that. I'm grasping tightly to a book.
How much of my meditation did I get done?
I would say you got like 2 hours.
It's like a short rest.
Correct.
Alright, so at least I have my spell slots back. Alright. Well, if I guess I'm awake for now or up, please do share, or should we find somewhere private to maybe have a quieter conversation?
Any of you seen any place that does not have any candles?
I mean, I was behind those crates over there napping, sitting. That seemed
They're everywhere.
less candles. It was dark, at least. Corner. Gonna look weird if we all stand in a corner, though. So maybe we should all go outside. Get some fresh air.
Will we be stopped?
They didn't stop me when I first arrived and returned to you all. Why should they have a reason to do so now?
Well, if
But
I remember
maybe-
correctly, there were candles outside too.
We can always put out a candle outside. What have you all gotten into? I told you to be careful, and that this place was dangerous.
Well, let's just say something is
Amiss.
very much so, given
Yes.
what I saw.
The words I first said to you was that something's off
Yes,
here.
you're so insightful. Honestly, you're so much more insightful than the rest of us. Shut up. We need to find somewhere safe.
Right, but what happened? clearly upset.
I'm gonna lean in. I'm gonna sort of glance to you and tap my head.
Yeah, I'll connect to your mind, because you asked me not to, so I'm going to take the hit.
The candles are watching us. They can scry on us. As long
Oh, God.
I found something fascinating.
And I found something disturbing. Sorry, that was in your head, right?
That was in my head, yes.
Never mind.
Okay. DM, is there like a private room I have seen where people just generally aren't right now? Like maybe like kitchens have kind of closed and people aren't in there, something like that?
I think right now the workshop of the blacksmith is actually the most secluded place because there's nobody over there. And the nearest candle, it's in the opening of the chamber itself. The only thing inside of the blacksmith's space is hung lanterns illuminating it.
I'm less worried about candles. Like, I'm thinking like a room that maybe is fully enclosed and has a door that people wouldn't notice if the door was closed. The candle can be in there and not in there. I'm not worried about that because I have a plan for that.
You do see that there is a supply closet of sorts that is in that direction.
Yeah, I like lead the way. Like, we're going to go to that supply closet real quick.
Is it big enough for 3 people?
Yes. This is full of all of the supplies that Selen would have to use to craft pretty much any weapon.
It's like a kind of a supply room. Like
Correct.
bigger space. Got it. Yeah, so once we're in there, I'm assuming there's at least one candle in here.
Yes.
I'm going to get the door shut, make sure nobody noticed us, or try not to let anyone notice us if we can. If we need to roll anything for that, that's fine. And once we're in, I am actually in the space going to cast darkness, which should put out the candle, or any candles that are in here.
Are we blind too?
Yes, but I'm not. But we should be able to talk in here and be largely safe. And we have more control over the candles and not being in an open space that can be overheard.
You do that and Theo disappears from your vision. Because in darkness, if you're relying on dark vision to see somebody, I'm invisible.
I can see in both magical and non-magical darkness, though. So I don't know if that has a different... So, like, I can see through the magical darkness. Even someone with dark vision can't see through this.
Yeah, it doesn't have to do with that.
Well, you're like
still
fully
relying on dark
invisible?
vision.
Yeah.
It's umbral sight, basically.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so that's something different. Then you're actually invisible. Yeah, you disappear.
Yeah, you hear me talking, though.
That's fine. I'm more worried about someone who walks in here would not immediately know who is in here, and we could disappear and kind of control what might happen. And I'm very nervous now.
Okay. Well, this
Right,
is not
you're
gonna
in
be
total
helpful.
darkness.
I mean, I appreciate the sentiment, but that doesn't mean I can't show you what I found.
You can show me in your mind.
What? How does that help Theo?
Just tell us. Right now, we need quick, decisive action. It sounds like, I don't know, they're going to kill us?
I don't think they are, but I stumbled upon a false wall in her study with a book in it that had portraits of people, including Seraphine, and it feels like these are trophies. Plus a mirror that shows you the past and sucks your memories out. What you wanted to hear?
Anything else that I should know about cults? Are we going, like, do we have anything concrete, or is it just the fear that we're probably dealing with something big and scary?
Well, I mean, I did find a lot of information on all of these artifacts, except for one that had been ripped out.
Well, anything for you, Theobald? Any other bad news to compile?
Well, I'm not sure what to make of it, but it's definitely something that we're not being told everything. I actually came across Oswin and Seraphine a little bit ago, and I decided to follow her. Seraphine, that is. She made her way somewhere where she started working with vials and this red liquid. Well, I might have attempted to take some, but guess I need to. He kind of like rubs his hands a little bit. Not that anybody can see it. Not too used to working delicately.
In that moment, Theo, you realize that some of that liquid is on your hand still.
Oh. Okay, I think you need to dispel this darkness for this. What she was working with, she claims was poison to help during their expeditions, but she had vial upon vial of it. Far more than she would need.
I dispel the darkness.
And Theo just has his hands out, and you see the red liquid.
I mean, we should still be in darkness, though, because the candles would be dispelled.
All right, so you still can't see me.
I'm going to actually touch the top of my staff and cast... I'll cast light on the top of my staff.
And Theo appears. And you see his hands are covered in a bit of reddish liquid.
I assume the two nerds here are going to descend on this and try to work together to identify it. I would love to assist Oswin in that if you would like to lead the charge, Oswin, but if you don't want to, I can do it.
I'll glance at it.
She claimed it was a poison. But I know
shouldn't be
blood
on your
when I smell
hand.
it. I said she claimed that.
Okay, I don't. Forgot that I had instead taken the painter supplies instead of the alchemy supplies. Well, still gonna... I'm still holding the book very tightly. And I'm going to sort of lean in close to it and try to inspect what it might be, the viscousness, the smell, what it could possibly be. I'm going to look at it.
So one person can give me medicine, and the other can give me arcana.
I'll do arcana.
I do medicine. I've got a decent wisdom. I'm going to guide myself.
Okay. So a decent...
The rolls have been so all over the place.
Wait, what
Medicine
did
of
you roll?
4 plus guidance.
What did you roll? Hold on.
Medicine.
I know. Let me just take a look at the rolls.
My total is a 7.
Okay, change that 3 to a 6. Give it a little bit of a boost.
Oh, the 3 is a D4.
No,
Wait.
the medicine check was a 3. Right?
Oh, is it?
Oh, no, the medicine check was a 1? No.
Yeah. Hold on.
No, what did
My
you roll on the
medicine check was a 3 plus 1, so yes.
Okay, so
And then I
change...
also rolled the 3 for my...
Okay, so change the 3 to a 6.
So
Just
10.
give it a little bit of a boost, and then I'm going to do the arcana. It's 5.
Yikes!
Ah, boy.
I feel like
we
maybe I should
cannot roll for
kept that 6.
I know.
I'm panicking right now. Thank you very much.
I am too. I am so stressed. We can't roll anything. Actually, hold on. I have something here. Can I also, we have a minute. Can I just identify on the substance to see if it is magical? I'll know what it is exactly.
Yes.
And is my detect magic still up? It lasts for 10 minutes. I mean,
would
it's
say-
concentration, but still.
I would say you're right at the upper limit.
So, counting down in, the last 30 seconds.
Yeah, we'll say that.
Okay,
So you identify.
And I has magical vision.
Correct. Oswin is very clearly something that gives off fiendish magic. And Isolde, when you identify it, you see that it is Mage Bane poison, which is made from Rakshasa blood, and is especially useful against spellcasters.